What's up? Welcome back. This is episode 5 in a series where we're building out a short-term vacation rental platform. In this episode, we're going to use TailwindUI to build out some of our components. Specifically, we're going to update our login form components, and we'll go through and start adding a little bit of style. So in order to get started with Tailwind CSS in Rails, we can say bundle add Tailwind CSS-rails, and this will add the gem to our gem file, and it will install, it'll also pull down the dependencies from Ruby gems. Then we need to say Rails Tailwind CSS : install, and that will actually make a couple of different changes, and we'll look at those. One of them is that it's going to use purge CSS as part of our production environment, and then it'll also update our application HTML ERB to add 2 new style sheet link tags. I'm not actually sure what the deal is with interfont, but whatever. And then over here, we can start up our Rails server and then our Webpack dev server, and we'll be off to the races. So here, now we can pull up localhost 3000. And all right, now our fonts have changed from the default fonts. And if we look at, for instance, like users/sign up, this is a page that looks like it hasn't been styled at all. So let's take a look at some of the login components. Let's see, login, no, application UI maybe. Where is this? Sign in and registration. Cool, this looks pretty good. Or continue with, and then we can have Google. All right, I kind of like this one. Maybe we could have different little images for vacation rentals show up here on the right. I don't know, I kind of like that. So let's just grab the code. I'm going to just copy all of that and open up our application here. So when we generated our devise views, as part of setting up authentication, underneath views, now we have devise, and there's a whole bunch of different views in here. And so I think the view we're looking for now is registration. So this is for the sign up controller. So I'm going to dump all of this HTML at the top of this page. And then I think we need to go into our, we need to go to our Tailwind config, which doesn't exist. So we need to go somewhere and require Tailwind CSS forms, maybe? I don't know. Let's just see what happens. Okay, it looks like it just magically worked and looks beautiful and amazing like all Tailwind things do. And so what I think we want to do is just move our form logic from where it is up to here. So let's just delete this. And then we don't actually need to have any free trial business here. Sign in. Okay, so this is for creating a new account. So I think, so we'll just say like register or something like that. Instead of sign in, we'll say register. Okay. Create a new account. Sign in with Facebook. This is sign in with Facebook. We actually want sign in with Google. And then I think we can remove Twitter and GitHub, these 2 divs. And now we want to refresh the page. Now we see just this Facebook icon here. And so we'll need to figure out how to actually change the icon. It looks like that might actually be an SVG. Yeah, okay, so it's some sort of SVG. Let's just change this so that it says Google, and then we'll comment out, or we'll just delete the SVG. And now it says Google here. We can probably get like a Google icon or button or something to put inside of there. And we want this to only span 1 column, and there should only be, I don't know, there should be no gaps. So let's see. Okay, that looks much better. Register with, and then now we can say register with Google or continue with, and then email address and password. And down here we have email address, password, and password confirmation. So we'll need to add those inputs also. So here we've got the password input. So we'll copy that and say password confirmation. And we're going to need to change what the actual inputs are. And so we'll use some of this content from down below. All right, so this was, again, this is the form that was generated for us by Devise. And so let's, okay, and then the shared links situation, we'll have to figure out how we want to use that shared, how we want to render those shared links, because yeah, so if it's omniauthable, it's going to like iterate over each of the providers and then link to omniauth authorized path for the resource name provider, and it's a post. So I think instead of using this link to, we can actually just remove the shared links and add our own link. We'll have to take a look and see. All right, so let's work on moving these fields up, and we'll just write the same HTML. So this is again why I don't like using the Ruby forms, because you have to go like, I don't know, there's just a lot of there's a lot that you have to understand about the form builders, which don't mirror up with anytime you want to use some front-end framework or some other, in this case, like a CSS framework or UI toolkit, I guess. Okay, so the input is input, autofocus, autocomplete, email, value. Okay, so this is the HTML that we want. So edit as HTML. I'm just going to grab the whole thing, and then we'll make this our email input. And then we'll just use the classes, these same classes here. And we'll say paste. And then we'll remove that email input. And now we should have an email input. We have an extra dangling closing bracket there. All right, now we have an email input that should function exactly as it was before. When it was embedded inside of our Devise form, but now it's part of this beautiful Tailwind form. Okay, so what else do we need to do here? Let's do the same thing for password, inspect, and we'll just say edit as HTML. We'll grab the whole thing, come down to password, and then dump this in here, and then we'll grab the class, and we will put that there. And then we'll remove that. And then same thing with the password confirmation. Edit as HTML, we'll copy the whole thing, dump that down in here, grab the class. And we should be good to go. Okay. So we've got now email address, password confirmation, and a sign in button. So this should actually be register or something. I guess we had sign up before. Okay, so now we've got all of these covered. This is covered. Oh, okay, let's see. If at password minimum length, we can print out the minimum here. Do we want that? Do we care about that? I don't, let's see. Yeah, okay, so we were seeing 6 characters minimum before. Do we want to show that? I don't know. Is there any prior art here? I don't think so. I think it makes a mess here. Let's just leave it out. And then the shared error messages, we definitely want those. And so let's figure out the best place to plop those. Maybe right under create a new account. I'm not sure exactly if this has a div or something, so we'll go look at that in a moment. And then we've got our email field, and then we can remove our form. And then we have these shared links that we have to deal with or figure out. And then we should be good. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got here. So we have a login link, didn't receive confirmation instructions, didn't receive unlock, and sign in with Google. So let's go over to our shared links, and let's remove this sign in with Google one after we know what the actual URL is. So let's inspect this thing. And it's /users/auth/Google. So let's actually just go back to that Google button at the top and say /users/ yeah, let's just make this be /users/auth/Google. And that should work now. So you just click on this link and it should log us in. Pass-through could not be found for users omniauth callback controller. Interesting. Users auth Google. Users auth Google. We might have to mess around with that. We'll figure that in a minute. Okay, and then if we go back to here and just, okay, so that looks good. If it's lockable, didn't receive unlock instructions, new unlock path. Okay, so then we've got to figure out how to put these links on the page so they don't look awful. And it looks like we've got your forgot your password situation. That looks like a really common construct, but not so much on the rest of these. So continue with, we've got forgot your password. Maybe we should just put it under forgot your password. So let's see, forgot. Actually, one of them is forgot your password. So let's just use this, this link to. So then we just want, actually, let's just, yeah, we'll set the path here. New password path for resource name. And I believe that should work. So now if we click on forgot your password, cool. So we're dumped into the password flow. And then I wonder if we can just add a couple more in here, if that's gonna look bad. And okay, when we're on the registration page, we want to allow people to go to the login page. So we can say already registered and make this be the new session path. That'll be like a login path. Let's see how that looks. Forgot your password, already registered. That means they're gonna like be brought to the login page. But what I don't like is I wanted these to be stacked. I didn't want them to be justify between. Oh, I see. Okay, so okay, so maybe we need to do something like this, where we have each of these items, and now they're going to be, yeah, now they're still going to be in line, but we actually want them to be display block. How do we do display block with Tailwind? I would just say block, maybe. The reason we want display block is so that they're on separate lines. So how come? Yeah, block level element, space Y4. Okay, so maybe we need another thing. Space Y4. Let's try that. Okay, cool. So now forgot your password, already registered. Those are okay, but this one is being centered vertically now. I want this to stay centered, or like a line top. So items justify between items center. I don't know if this is the thing that's doing that or not. Remember me button. We've got the checkbox, and actually, are we even going to do remember me? Was that one of our features? Okay, let's actually just remove the remember me checkbox, and we will remove justify between. We're not going to display block, or yeah, we're just going to make this a div and try to stack all the items yeah, as blocks. So let's see if we can mess around with this. So forgot your password, already registered. Let's actually move this down below register also. And yeah, so we're basically just going to like render all the same links, but we're going to render them pretty and below. So now we'll just copy these same links, and we'll continue adding the rest of our shared links. So I think it's just these two. And so didn't receive confirmation instructions. So yank in quote. And then the path is new confirmation path. All right. And then the last one here is didn't receive unlock instructions. Okay, see how that looks. Oh, all right, I think that looks great. Now we can remove the shared links, and now we need to fix whatever this issue is with Google. Action pass-through could not be found for the OmniAuth callbacks controller. So, pass-through. Oh. Were these post requests? Oh, what method post? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so data-method should give us the method for post magically out of the box. So users sign up again, click on this button, it's sending a post request. Okay, so now we're logged in. Okay, so then if we log back out, logged out successfully, users sign up. If we sign up for a new account here, wave4@cjab.dev, password, register, no route matches, users sign up. Okay, so we don't have, we haven't actually wrapped this whole thing in a form yet. So we need to do that. Okay, so we don't need the sign in with Google bit, but we do need the rest of this. So, oh, here's our form action here. So this is going to be to, oh gosh, where's this going to be to? So this is, okay, the beauty of Git is we can say git diff for registrations new, and this will tell us that this was going to the registration path for resource name. So we'll open back up registration new, and form action is going to be this thing. All right, so we want to come back over here, refresh our page, and try signing back in. Wave4@cjab.dev. Password, click register, invalid authenticity token. So we need to have the authenticity token, which is going to be a hidden input. And this is going to have the name is going to be authenticity token, and the value is going to be form. This is a form authenticity token, and I think that should give us what we're looking for. So let's take a look at the HTML that was rendered back. And we see this authenticity token that's injected, and it has the value there. So let's try this one last time. Wave4.5 cjab.dev. Okay, we click register. All right, now we are registered. We can confirm our account, confirm my account. And now we're brought to the login page where we can hopefully log in with wave4@cjab.dev. Cool, we're signed in successfully and everything is looking good. Great. So let's also, I think you can sort of extrapolate how you would style the login page. So I'm just going to do that quickly. It's basically going to be the same exact thing. And so I'm going to plow through that so you don't have to watch all the same stuff. So let's go style the login page now. For this remember me field, okay, so the name is user remember me. So for the input, we need to make sure this says user remember me. And then for forgot password, let's actually move all of these links again down below. They'll be all the same links except we don't need to add the already registered one because they're assuming they're gonna log in. So we want to instead add a need to register. Okay. And then the last bit here is errors, I think. So if we say sign in right now, in the authenticity token. Okay, so if we try to sign in without a password and we click sign in, we see invalid email or password way up here. But we want that to be probably underneath sign in to your account. So why don't we, let's put this inside of this div, maybe? Let's see. No, okay, so it's still ending up, right. Okay, so this is actually the devise errors that are at the very, very top, that are being rendered at the very top of application controller. So our application HTML ERB, right? Remember that when we first installed, devise, it asked us to add these to application HTML ERB. And so what I think we want to do is, let's see, what does devise errors actually show? If there's any errors, then it looks like it renders out these messages here. Error explanation. Okay, but these two are they're also being rendered here. So let's add a new shared, and we'll call it notices.html.erb. And let's move these into notices, to a shared notices thing. Oops. So that we can install it on each page wherever we want to. So now if we go back to session new, here we can say devise shared error messages and also shared notices. And we can refresh the page. Sign in without any password. And okay, so now we're seeing invalid email or password. That's great. And in our shared notices thing, we've got an alert and we've got a notice. We can probably style those with Tailwind. So let's look for alert or something. Let's see if there's alerts over here. Maybe alerts. Cool. That looks nice. This all look, oh, look at that. It's even about a password. Okay. With an accent border. I don't know. Do we like the accent border? Do we like the dismiss button? I think that requires some JavaScript probably. I kind of just like this one. I don't know. So I'm just going to grab some of this here and then come and add these into our both notice and alert. We'll just drop them into both. I think notice is supposed to be green and alert is supposed to be orange or something, but oh gosh. Okay. So I guess we want to say like if alert and same thing for if notice. So they're not always there. And then if we try submitting without a password, invalid email or password, that looks pretty good, except I'd like the text to be orangish. So how did they do that? Text small, yellow, font. Yeah, okay, whatever. This seems good. We can come back and play with that later. Okay, yeah. There's always time to tweak and play some more. So invalid email or password, whatever. That looks good enough. All right. So now we can actually sign in. That seems to work. Fantastic. All right. I'm happy with the styling for registrations and sign up. Let's take a look at our form for listing the property. This is pretty garbage. So let's just throw some basic styling around the form and then call it good. So if we come back over here, we go to forms, check out forms. What is this? Oh no, that's for e-commerce. So form layouts, input groups, select menus, sign in and registration, toggles, admin panels. Let's see, form layouts. Probably, I don't like the side-by-side. I would prefer it to be on top of, yeah, simple stacked, I think is what I'm going for. Yeah, simple stacked. Ooh, this one is interesting. 2 columns sidebar with sidebar. Because we could do like listing, I don't know, like the listing summary stuff, then maybe photos and pricing and something else. So this is interesting. This is definitely interesting. Profile information, notifications. This gives us a ton to go on. I think, do we want it to be on the sidebar or across the top? Let's figure that out later, and let's use simple stacked for now. So in the preview, what I think, let's take a look at this and see what we can do with this entire thing. I think I want to just figure out exactly like the best way to, I guess I need to like actually learn how to render form components. So listing new, okay, so maybe let's try to be a little bit more delicate about this than I have been in the past. So, yeah, all right. So let's give the form these classes and just see what that does for us off the bat. Okay, so that's something. And then each of the inputs, there is a class for the input, there's a class for the label, there's a class for the input box itself. So, or there's like this is like for the control, for the whole form control. So I haven't actually wrapped these in a div yet. So I think we'll need to do that. And then inside of that div, how much more do we need? We've got the label, and that has a 4, and that has a bunch of classes. So this needs now to be, I should probably break these up on separate lines now that we're gonna have so much CSS here. And if we take a look at that, how does that look? Already looking sort of like much better. And then this one has a div with a margin top of 1 that wraps the input. So let's take a look at what that looks like. I don't know if that's just for text area inputs or something. And then the other thing it does is here, or at least for the text inputs, they've got a ton of stuff. So I don't know, like in that first input, workcation, whatever, it looks like it's got this sort of preview thing in the beginning, but I don't care about that. I more so care about like having the Just a simple like input. So let's look at what first name looks like. And yeah, let's grab the class here for first name and come back over here. Class equals all that business. Let's take a look. All right, that looks pretty, but everything is just like growing super huge. So we actually need some sort of layout before we get too far. I'm actually gonna open this up. And application shells, that's interesting. Stacked layout, sidebar, multi-column layout. I think we want stacked. Stacked seems to be the direction a lot of folks are going these days. Stacked. Which one do you think? Which one would you pick? Branded nav with white page header. Branded nav with overlap. That's kind of cool. That's got like the tail or the transistor FM feel to it. I think, yeah, I kind of like the overlap. Let's try the overlap situation. Do we like the dark one? Oh, that requires, oh, do they all require JS? They all require some JavaScript. All right, that's all right. Let's see how this works. So I want to just copy all the HTML. I'm going to go to application HTML ERB. And I think what we actually want to do is create several layouts. We want to create a layout for the host and a layout for the guest, because the host is kind of using almost like an admin platform, and the guest is really using like a consumer product. So let's add, well, yeah, for now, let's just mess around with the application HTML, but we'll have to go back and make it so that it works with a new layout eventually. But for now, we'll just drop it directly in here. And then this yield business is where we want like each of the actual sort of views to be rendered into. And so this is where we're going to actually put our content, is inside of this thing. So it says replace with your content, and let's see how this looks. Holy moly. Okay, great. This looks awesome. And I don't think I need this. Let's see. Nope, I do want some of that. I don't want the border dashed situation. Okay, list your property. We've got this giant form, your profile settings. This is the part that I think needs JavaScript. How do you actually enable the JavaScript for this stuff? Vue or React? Huh, interesting. Oh wow, look at this. Okay, so it's showing you, what is this requires JS business? Does it tell you what JavaScript to implement? How does that work? Preview. I think that might be the only bit that requires JavaScript, right? Is like showing and hiding, whatever. Let's keep driving on. Yeah, because we're gonna want this to like show and hide when you click on it. And then maybe we'll have like listings and bookings and I don't know, inbox or messaging or something. So yeah, we can actually play around with that a little bit now. Or we can, yeah, let's keep working on our form here. Let's keep working on our form. So listing new. Okay, so Tailwind header. Let's see. How is header not a thing? Oh, it's probably like size, huh? Font size. So text 5XL, sure. How does that look? Boom, list your property, way too big. 3XL? Okay, and then we've got our title, we've got our about, and we're gonna continue kind of wrapping these in a similar way now. All right. And does that still work? Address controller is connected. What are these JavaScript errors that we're seeing? All right, let's clear those out, close the terminal, refresh the page. We should see the autocomplete. I don't know what's going on there, why that autocomplete isn't working every single time. All right, I'm just going to use the same CSS as we have for the input boxes and see if this works well enough. How many people can stay? Cool. All right, and then do we have something for buttons here? Let's see. Button. Pre-flight button. I guess you design the button the same way as you design everything else, right? So I just need to grab some sort of button that's already here. So let's find the button and just grab all the same text, the same classes, and come down to our input. And let's see how it looks. All right, create listing, that's pretty cool. All right, so if we say list your property, title can't be blank, that's pretty nice. Test, create listing. All right, we got our listing. There's the title of it. We've got an edit button. We've got to update our edit form, but I think this is where we're going to leave it today. So we were able to go through and pretty quickly style out something and get a rough dashboard up and running with Tailwind UI. We styled some login pages. We're going to have to do a lot more work on just styling and getting this like header looking okay. I've got like a login button up here that should be probably inside of these settings. It would be good to have this actually work where you click on the face and this flies out and you click on it again, it goes away. So yeah, we'll need to dig into that a little bit, but what we did today was a whole lot of styling, like add CSS framework. So we'll check that box even though we didn't do a ton, but yeah, thanks for sticking around and we'll see you next time. Cheers.